Hey, what's up y'all, it's Salman here with another video, or you can say Sal if you want. And we're gonna be watching a video of Do All Clowns Think the Same? Now, before we hop right into watching it together, I'm just gonna put it out there. I'll be honest with you, when I was younger, I wasn't the biggest fan of clowns. Hey, you know, being happy, wanting to play football, wanting to go gymnastics, wanting to play instruments, music. Why would I want to see a clown which is there to scare you? It's like, you know, going to work and wanting to be robbed. It's just that whole weird dynamic which I'd never really, I guess, melded with. But hey, let's go ahead and see what they all have to say, and let's see if they actually are fairly nice people. I don't know. Hopefully they are. I think they are. They're just doing a job, right? Okay, let's go. Hey, merch, let's go.
If you walk up to a child, you can't change your facial expression now, and you walk up to you're like,
"Hello, Clarice,"
and they're like, ah!
Especially with like the It movie and stuff nowadays, it's like, it's even worse for them. And, I mean, that was old. That's an old movie, actually, to be fair.
If we look at the indigenous significance of clown and like what the societal impact that the clown had, is they are the ones that are supposed to poke holes in whoever says they have authority.
A lot of people have never met a clown that like is really good at doing makeup or has put a lot of thought into creating their character.
Especially if you run into a clown who doesn't know what they're doing. I've seen white-faced clowns that don't understand that. They put this big like jack-o'-lantern smile. Can't change your facial expression now, and you walk up to you're like,
"Hello, Clarice,"
and they're like, ah! You've now scarred this child for life.
I think that if you are pushing it and trying to force somebody to be into it, it's just a recipe for disaster.
We also have problems with people who like to try to freak out their friends. I'll be at a parade and they're like, "Oh, you should come and say hi to my friend. He loves clown." No.
That's the interesting part, is that what is the actual goal of a lot of these clowns? Because some of them are there, right, to scare people. Some of them are there to just make children happy and to, you know, do some party tricks where they tie up balloons. So that's perhaps they should have done an intro as to, okay, this is the type of clown I am. But I guess that's what they'll get to later. I don't know. Yeah, whoa. It's gonna not safe for work.
See, it's not us. Everyone else is the weird one. They think we're the weird ones, but it's somebody else's. And I can speak to this because while I was doing a news interview for Ringling Brothers, the reporter kept hitting on me. It's 5:30 in the morning. I look like this. What is happening?
I had some guy on Facebook who just started popping off with, "Oh, so you do this for real?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "You know what I'd really like?" He said, "I want you to come over and I want you to tie me to the bed with the balloons."
I wanted a safe video. You know, a fun video where it was like, there's so many videos where it's talking about relationships and stuff. And what do I get on the second question of a clown video? This stuff. Oh,
and then I want you to completely cover me in clown white, and then I want you to make me your bitch.
Yikes.
Yeah, that's not happening.
I think if we had more people here, there might be some people over there because there are many different subversions of clowns, and there's
Tell us the subversions, please. I really want to know.
Clown core, and there's some people that identify as a sex clown.
Clowns hate children.
No way.
That's it.
Yo, if someone's coming up wanting to be a clown.
Is that a fake out? Was that a joke?
They will tell you if you're funny. They will tell you if they don't like you. They will tell you if they don't like the way that you look.
I think people shouldn't assume that clowns like children.
Children are people, and there's
Wait, hold up. If you're a clown and you hate children, now I perhaps might be stereotyping here, but the majority of clowns, they do stuff for children, right? So that's kind of scary if you think about it. If there's a bunch of clowns who hate children and they're just gonna go to a party and they're going, "I hate children," well, here we go. Yikes, that is... Here's a screwdriver, children, and what are we gonna do today? Oh my days.
There's a lot of people that suck, and so some kids suck.
But they are our best audience.
Bro, that sounds so twisted. The kids suck, but they're our best audience. Yikes.
To be funny, you have to be really perceptive, you have to have an opinion, you have to be emotionally intelligent, you have to be tapped into what's going on in the news, like reading the room, like what works, what doesn't.
And there's something to be said for a lifetime of experience. The clowns that I learned from, we were doing this for 30 plus years, and they have a lot of knowledge. If they make it look easy, then they're doing the job right.
I sometimes am very
That is so interesting, because I never really thought about clowns that much, right? But yeah, there's so much in any job realistically, which goes into the soft skills and the psychology of how to interact. And yeah, of course, these people that they're clowns and they're having to interact with children all day, if they're doing a bad job of being a clown, then perhaps they need to learn a bit of the psychology, like how do you interact with people. There's a lot that you learn about in psychology when it's like the theory of attachment theory, and the whole idea of when you're a child and your parents, they mirror your movements, and that's what creates the child mother bond, or the child father, or the caregiver bond, right? So yeah, that's so interesting.
Not because of the work that I've done or my peers that I personally worked with have done, but because of other people, what they have done or what they do. And then people point at that and they say, you do that? And you're like, that's not what I do.
I've been accused of being a child murderer. I've been accused of being a child rapist. So I'm like, sometimes I just don't want to talk about it. I just don't need that aggravation.
I'm not always happy while clowning. 3, 2, 1, go.
Wow.
So I'm at this thing, my father's just been put into memory care. He's like level 6 of Alzheimer's, and that was terrible. And then I lost my job, and all these awful things are happening to me, but I had to be there to say, oh, you want a balloon? Sure, what kind of balloon do you want today? Oh, I can do that. Squeak, 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 squeak. And I had to be on, but at the same time, inside my head was like, oh, to hell with this noise.
There's a such thing.
That is such an interesting thing to think about. It's like if someone's doing, say, content even on YouTube, or if they're like frequently on screen all the time, and they are, playing a character, or they are supposed to be happy and stuff, that can be very taxing on the person. And then it gets into this whole idea of, okay, who am I really? Because am I this happy persona, or this, what do they call it? Alter ego. Are you this alter ego sometimes, or are you, just who you are? And then it's like, okay, well, if you're frequently going into this state of switching characters, there's this whole possibility of developing, perhaps, I don't know, but dissociative identity disorder, perhaps, I don't know, people refer to it as DID, but I know when there's loads of things which go into this in terms of the psychology of when there's a child and then their parents are like quibbling, and then it's like, whose side do you see? And because there's so many twisted realities, because one parent says this, the other person says this, and it can cause all these, effects on the children. And then imagine you're now working like that, and you're having to change personality, because there's no way you're gonna be able to really do a good job if you're going to be suffering through a job which requires you to be always a certain personality all the time, whilst being in front of children. Oh my days, that is hard.
Is, toxic positivity, but at times where I felt sadness, putting on the makeup and going to see folks, kids, brightening their day for sure. improve my mood.
Part of my gig is a therapeutic medical clown. I'm working in the hospital and I'm witnessing and seeing some really sad stuff, and naturally it hits you at your core and it can affect you emotionally.
I too work in pediatric hospitals, and it's sometimes very, very heavy, and your job is to be at the core of it is to be a human, is to connect.
The thing that's in the backpack kind of smells a little bit, so I'm a little bit embarrassed to share what it is. It's a little baby skunk.
Clowns are based on racism. 3, 2, 1.
Based on racism? I have no idea.
I think if you look back at the minstrel shows in America and Canada, the old shows with the white folks pretending to be, black folks and picking their knees and stuff with them.
So I've heard of that, I think, where you have these dolls, and they look a certain way, and if you have those dolls, it perhaps portrays a certain race, or as this or this, right? So yeah, I understand where that's coming from. I didn't know that was clown related.
Makeup, this type of art style has been used to hurt my people. Halloween's coming up, and there's gonna be folks gonna probably pull that minstrel clown makeup look. They think it's just makeup, but it's not.
We need more black clown educators within our community that can teach people that the way that they're clowning or the choices that they're making isn't appropriate. If you search for a clown wig on Amazon, the first thing that's gonna come up is a curly afro wig, right? That is the butt of the joke.
If we look,
That does, wow. That is so interesting. Yeah. Wow. But you see, this clown doesn't have curly hair.
to the French as well, like the most famous Auguste clown, or like the dumb clown, was a black man named Chocolat, and he acted as the slave in the show. So there's like a lot of physical violence that happened, and like coliseums essentially full of people that would laugh at this.
Go G.
Oh no! Now I'm like, oh jeez.
There's Apple.
Oh God! I'm sorry. Oh,
And you call
nothing but
yourself a
shame.
clown.
Shame in my house. Shame upon my household.
They seem like such fun people to be around though. Like, yo. Well, I mean, hey, they got a good job for them then. They're happy people. Yeah, I guess that's why.
Oh!
Yeah.
I have always wanted to be a clown. 3, 2, 1, go.
I had no
Before we go into this, I personally would never consider that as something I would like to do, because if I was given the opportunity, because the possibility of, you know, the idea, it's supposed to be scary, right? Or have I just got the total misunderstanding of what clowns are? I've always understood clowns to be scary, and they're supposed to scare children. But perhaps that I'm only seeing certain kind of clowns, and then also perhaps that could be skewed because you tend to see it in the horror films. So you have It, and I tend to like to watch horror stuff, and then you have Doctor Who, and I don't think they really have clowns but I don't know. I've always seen clowns as they're supposed to be scary, but in TV shows perhaps they're portrayed as funny. So, but what I'm trying to get at is, because I've perceived them as they could be scary, I don't want to ever be one to potentially scare one, to scare a child, right? So that's my thoughts on it. But yeah, if it were the other way, and hey, there was no chance that clowns are scary, then I perhaps would have thought, hey, this is something cool. But I've always, at least in terms of entertainment, been more of the let's learn an instrument kind of entertainment sort of thing, hence the piano and stuff, rather than let me act. and then I did a bit of acting, but it wasn't necessarily something I pursued so much of.
I had no idea that clown was an option. Like, even 3 years ago when I started clowning, I didn't know. But when I heard someone say it to me when I said that I liked changing the air in the room, they're like, oh, are you a clown? It was like my heart was like, yeah, you're a clown, okay? You need to do this. And I just went full throttle. There's lots of clowns like us that don't dress up, don't do the red nose. Steve-O from Jackass is a trained.
Another thing, when I did acting, I hated the idea of having to put on makeup or hairspray and stuff like that. I avoided that. So that's something I can't do. Especially like my skin's not that good, right? The idea of putting on makeup, it'll clog my pores and then I'll perhaps have the worst skin ever. So yeah, I don't think I could do that. Unless, hey, there's clowns which don't wear makeup. Well, there perhaps are, but...
Clown, Sacha Baron Cohen, who does some costume, but not like with makeup and stuff. And yeah, I want to like keep pushing that forward.
I think I came out the womb like a clown. like just growing up, always being like the trickster and like the jokester and wanting to, you know, make a laugh.
I saw an audition on Backstage.com and it was really cryptic. It was just like looking for physical improv comedians. And I went, and then at the end, they were like, this is for the Ringling Brothers Circus. And I was like, what? For what in the Ringling Brothers Circus? I'm like, we need a new girl clown for our alley. But it wasn't until we did our hospital PRs, where we go and we visit kids in the hospital, and I saw what this could be. What this truly could be, this like connection with people that really, really need it. For that kid, that family in that moment that maybe haven't laughed in days because their kid's been in the hospital, that changes their world. It might change the whole trajectory of their week. I didn't always want to do it, and now I'm like, oh, well, you'll do it forever.
That is such a... That is... Okay, now that I think about it, in that circumstance, if I were to consider clown stuff, like that would be the avenue, I think. Whilst there's the scary part of, hey, you're having to see so many people going through tragedies all the time in a hospital, you're there to make a difference in someone's life, and you could make them happy. And what she says, oh my days, that's amazing. I never really thought about it like that, because like it's a similar thing with loads of jobs. A lot of people, they want to have an impact in the world, or impact on people. You can do that by, hey, if you're good at making jokes, if you're good at making people laugh and smile, then that is amazing. And you can do that while seeing you know, an audience live, and it's like such, like in a hospital, such an amazing way to make a difference.
Sadly, we'll be the first ones to go during the zombie apocalypse. You know why? Because I always go straight for the juggler.
The juggler.
I'm so bad with... I didn't get what that means. I'm so sorry. What the juggler? Define juggler. Entertainer. No, it literally just means juggler. Okay, I don't get it. But hoo-ha, whatever. That was an amazing video. To be honest, I never really thought about a lot of these different things, like the racism that comes with people's ideas of and perceptions of clowns. The whole idea of, hey, if you're a clown, you're always trying to be happy, even whilst you might not be. So if I ever see a clown, maybe I'll just ask them, hey, how are you? Because like no one may ever realize that they could be upset. Maybe they need someone to talk to. Obviously, they might not want to say it to a stranger, but hey, you never know. And also, I don't see clowns that much, so it might not happen. And then, like, yeah, honestly, that was such a wholesome episode. I never really thought about these different avenues of clowns. Like, being a clown in a hospital sounds amazing. Like, you can, it's like you don't have to come up with, now I'm not saying clowns are, like, bad comedians, but like comedians, they perhaps have tougher critics if it's to adults and stuff. But children, you know, hey, you can do. I'm not a comedian. I'm not a stand-up comedy person, whatever, right? So perhaps I could do clown stuff. I could just like make like jokes and stuff, which kids would get, which perhaps won't be funny to me, but hey, I can make a difference perhaps if I did clown stuff, and that to me sounds awesome. Perhaps I need to think about volunteering. I don't know. This sounds cool, but yeah, no. Okay, so that was really great. Hey, I'm gonna cut it now. I hope all of you enjoyed this. I'm gonna keep trying to do some more videos and reacting to stuff, because it's quite cool talking to y'all. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.